Выходила, песню заводила про степного сизого орла, про того, которого любила, про того, чьи письма берегла, про того, которого любила, про того, чьи письма берегла.
Today we'll be making the KV tanks. The KV tanks were Russian tanks used in World War II. Early in the war, the German tanks were outmatched by the KV tanks. If you want to know how good the KV tanks were at the start of the war, watch this clip. The KV2 and 1 were requested by many people, but since the KV2 and 1 both have the same exact holes, there's no point in making two separate videos for both of them. So today I'll be showing you how to make both of the tanks in one video. Both of the tanks have a turret mechanism that allows the turret to turn 360 degrees, and a gun mechanism that allows the gun to be moved up and down. Not to mention you can also add a toy soldier onto the top. Without any further waiting, let's get into the tutorial. The first thing you want to get a grasp of is what kind of toy soldiers you want to put inside the tank. I'll be using these two soldiers and they look pretty Russian to me. Also, here's my old KV tank that I tried to make. Look how crazy small it is. Well, that was a failed attempt, let's just move on. Anyways, here's a reference image. Since they're both separate tanks, it might be better to just go look up your own reference images. The first thing I do is I cut out these two bases of cardboard. Then I cut them and glue them on angles to make the shape of the tank. The front should look like this. And on the back I glue on some weaker cardboard because the back is curved. Then I do the same to the other tank. When I'm done with that, I make the top. The top is just a flat piece of cardboard, but the back is sloped. Now I started to make the KV1's turn. I started first with this trapezoid, and then I cut out the sides, which look like this. Then I glue on the rest of the bottom on the turret. Usually you would need a really complicated mechanism to allow a toy soldier to fit in the turret. But since both of the KV turrets are really big, it's really easy to fit a toy soldier in it. When I glue on the top, I also cut out a hole for the toy soldier. Now I made the gun mechanism. The gun mechanism is a basic concept. What I do is I just cut out this piece of a pencil, and I wrap paper around the piece of the pencil that's the same width. That should allow the paper to move around the pencil. Then I cut open the tank and put these half circles on it. Now you should be able to glue the paper thingy into the tank. For the gun, I just use this broken pencil, and then I glue on some other cardboard stuff under the pencil. Then I add some slight details to the turret, such as the hatch. After that, it's time for the KV2's turn. The KV2's turn is extremely big. First thing you want to do is cut out 2 of these shapes. Then I glue on the sides to a top piece. I also cut a hole into the top for the army man. I also made another gun mechanism, the same as the other one, but this one is a little different because it has a thicker but shorter gun. I attached the gun the same way as the other tank, and then I finish off the bottom. For the turret mechanism, I cut a hole into the top of the tank. Then I got the circle that I cut out and glued it onto the bottom of the turret. When that's done, you can stick the turret through the hole. And then I attach a bigger circle through the hole onto the circle. That should allow the turret to move. Then you can glue on the top of the tank by gluing on the back first and then the front. I also do the same for the KV1. When both of the tanks are done, I glue on details. These are just scraps of cardboard and trash that I glue on to make the tank look less flat. When that's done, I also glue on the sides of the tank, and then I glue on these track coverings. This is done for both tanks. Now I made the wheels. The wheels are just cut out foam boards, and as you can see, I already made it for the KV2. I also make the wheels 2 layers thick, so that means 2 layers of thick cardboard or 2 layers of foam. This is the more tedious part of the build. When all of that is done, I made the tracks. The tracks are just peeled corrugated cardboard, and if you're gonna make both of the tanks, you're gonna have to have 4 sets of tracks. After all that, I painted the tanks. Both of the tanks are painted a dark green, and the tracks are painted black. And for this, I used some really watered down paint because I was running out of paint at that time. When all of the paint is dry, you can glue on the tracks. And if you want to, you can write some Russian words onto your tank. The words I wrote on the Russian tank are easily made by using Google Translate, but I honestly don't really know what I wrote onto that tank. I meant to write down fat kid in Russian, but when I translated back, it just said fat kid. So I'm confused, but it doesn't really matter. Now you're basically done. So thank you guys for requesting this tank. I've really been wanting to make the KV and KV2 tanks, and now I finally got the chance. So anyways, thank you all for watching.